The USC women's soccer team earned its 11th shutout of the season over the weekend in a 1-0 victory over Washington. Ben Albert and Josh Cohen are here to play some agree-disagree. So guys, both the offense and the defense have been excelling lately, but the forwards are the reason this team is so successful. Agree or disagree?
Josh, I'm going to go with agree. What's your take?
Yours truly's going with disagree.
Well, let me tell you why I agreed, guys. Last year, this was a great team. We saw that. We saw the development from the years prior. But you take a look at the offense in particular. Morgan Andrews had 12 goals. She did a great job, obviously, being a lead scorer for this team. But you look at the secondary scorers for the team. You have Sydney Johnson had 5, and then you have Kayla Mills and Manny Freeman contributing, but they're not even playing up that much this year. This year, you add Katie Johnson, who was injured, and you add Alex Anthony, who's transferred. And suddenly you have a balanced scoring attack with a trio of attackers because all three of those girls, Alex Anthony, Katie Johnson, and Morgan Andrews, have 7 goals apiece, which is putting a trifecta of pressure on defenses.
Very true, but I'm going to say disagree because it all stems from the back line and from the center defensive mid, Kayla Mills. The back line, of course, Allie Prysock, the only returner from last year that's starting in the back four. It all starts with defense. 4 shutouts in the last 5 games. Let's not get this confused. This well-oiled machine, led by Kadani McAlpine, is a defense-first team. And you just look at Sammy Jo Prudhomme between the pipes, what she does game in and game out, the organization that she provides, and how disciplined they are. They're airtight, watertight in all the channels. Oppositions can't attack on the flanks. They've got it covered. Middle of the park, same deal. So you look at what they do defensively. Yes, the forwards put the ball in the back of the net, but you're looking at a whole bunch of goose eggs for oppositions against USC. I'm going to go with defense continuing to improve individually and as a unit.
Okay, so like you just said, they've been dominating their opponents week in and week out. Well, this team will make the national championship.
Oh, Alexa, please. Please. Agree.
Okay.
I'm going to disagree on this one.
Ooh, why is that?
Oh, man. I'm going to say agree for all the reasons I just mentioned, but also they have the experience now, okay? This team beat North Carolina 3-0, Stanford 3-0. And first 20 minutes of those 2 games, you're thinking this is a championship-like atmosphere. USC is on the back foot. These teams are applying a lot of pressure. They grew into those games. We saw them against elite opponents getting it done. So as the game progressed, because the ensuing 70 minutes, it was all SC. Possession, chances, you name it. Those are big games with a lot of pressure on the line. They were getting it done. They seemed unfazed. They have the experience, the personnel too. They have players who have been there before. They went to Charlottesville, Sweet 16 last year, tasted bitter defeat at the hands of the Virginia Cavaliers. They have that in the back of their minds now. They're hungry.
I hope I eat my words on this one, and I will not disagree with Josh on the fact that we do have the talent to win the national championship. But what I want to say is this. When you get to the playoffs, it's a different atmosphere, and as much as we've played well against certain teams like Stanford, high-ranked opponents, we've also tripped up a couple of times. Also, there's been a few games that you may not notice based off the statistics or the box score. For instance, last Thursday, I was at the Washington State game. We did win 3-0, but the first half, if you were at that game, you saw Washington State putting a lot of pressure on our defense, and that's something that if we play like that, like how we did in the first half of that game against a much better opponent, we might find ourselves in a hole that we can't overcome when it comes to the playoffs.
That is true, but earlier this season, this team broke a school record for longest consecutive shutout streak with 8 shutouts in a row, which is the best in school history. This is the best team USC's ever had. Agree or disagree?
Whoa now.
I'll start. I'm going to say disagree, but I want to preface this by saying I do think this is the best regular season team that USC has ever had. If you look at goals scored average and goals given up average, they're both as good as they've ever been. They're better than the national championship team that we had in 2007. However, take a page out of the NBA, for instance, last season the Golden State Warriors had a regular season record, best record ever, but they faltered when it came to the playoffs. I'm not ready to crown this the best team yet because at the end of the day, you got to bring home a championship.
I threw up both for a reason. It's exactly that. Coronation in NCAA women's soccer, men's soccer, NCAA sports, it can't happen in this season in October. When we look at December, that's going to be when it all comes down to. Mentioning that 2007 team, they had the superstar, Amy Rodriguez, and they also had the compelling storyline. That team lost to UCLA in Westwood that season. They played the Bruins in the national semifinal and won, and A-Rod had both goals in the win. It all came together. So for this team, yes, they play with a tremendous amount of quality and poise, but in the postseason, are they going to have the storylines even to make it memorable to whereas we're saying they're playing good soccer, they're winning games, they're hoisting the trophy, and we're going to remember this team decades from now? I think so.
Josh, you nailed it. Amy Rodriguez, do we have an elite player who can take over a game like she did?
Yeah.
Question mark going forward.
That is true. Only time will tell, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. USC is on the road for the last 3 games of the regular season starting this week, so it won't take long to figure out which of you is right.